Yes, we're recording. So, welcome everybody to another reading of the Lord Mayor. We're starting today at the very bottom of page 2777. Um, Baba therefore urged his companions beforehand to abide by all the conditions and stated that there would be a certain amount of relaxation during the first week. Continuing, he explained, in short, although I want all the conditions followed 100%, I will be in a relaxed mood, tired and easy, toward my companions, in order to be free from physical and mental strain. We leave Mehrabad early in the morning of the 16th, and my men companions should walk 1 furlong. That's 220 yards. Oh, I didn't know that. An eighth of a mile. Uh, my men companions should walk 1 furlong, 220 yards ahead of me and the 4 women companions. The men should laugh, talk, and be cheerful without jeopardizing the conditions. When settled in Balgam before starting the training, I will make all the points of how my companions have to act regarding giving suggestions, asking questions, and also clear up other points concerning the new life. Erich, Pendu, and Kaka were sent to Godnadi to arrange for tea and food on the 16th. After reserving the dock bungalow in Supa for that night, they returned. Meanwhile, Padre, who had been working diligently, had by now completed the electrical fittings at Merzad by installing a generator. The electric inspector came on 12 October 1949, tested the equipment, and, finding it satisfactory, permitted its use. On that night of the 12th, for the first time, Merzad was functioning with electric lights. But Baba, who had insisted that certain fittings be done in the first place, complained throughout the night about the irritating loud noise of the generator. Well, welcome to the electric age, Baba. And from the next day, the electricity was switched off. One day, Merzad was aglow, and the next it had fallen into the darkness of despondency. Age declared. The beloved is leaving the soil his feet have trod upon for years. At Mehrabad on the 13th, Baba outlined the duty of every man going with him and dictated orders for the 3 Yeswalas who would be traveling in advance with the luggage. He also explained again about the 2.5 months training period and about other aspects of the new life, especially the end, as he put it. I will help all of you not only to prepare yourselves to abide by the conditions of the new life, but will also help you prepare for the fulfillment of the pre-planned end. All this help terminates by January 1, 1950. There will be many occasions after this date in your new life which will make you nonplussed. That is, be at a loss as to what to think, say, or do. You should not misunderstand such occasions as helplessness. The whole of your new life from its very start to the end, is nothing but literally a life of helplessness. There is a world of difference between a state of regular helplessness and when one becomes nonplussed. One can easily live and lead a sane life of regular and utter helplessness. But to survive sanely a single moment when one is nonplussed, under the strain of helplessness and in fulfillment of responsibilities, is unimaginable. Take a simple example. I have said that when I am dead, it will be the responsibility of my companions in the new life to bring my body to the tomb at Meherabad. It seems so very easy and quite simple. Now, let's say when I drop my body, we are in Tibet, and to fulfill this responsibility, and with sheer helplessness as your only asset in favor of your credit balance, will it not be impossible to bring the body to Meherabad? You cannot charter a plane to bring my body. You cannot preserve my body for days together. You cannot contact Sarosh to help as usual for a ready conveyance, since there will be no telegraph office in Tibet, and also your conditions forbid you to contact him. This will be the case when you will be nonplussed, that is, at a loss as to what to think, say, or do. There will be many such occasions when, amidst your utter helplessness and with the full burden of fulfillment of responsibilities, you will have to face the new life and the end. Then, to avoid giving rise to such nonplussing occasions for the fulfillment of all that is to come to pass, Baba dictated certain points which he stated his companions should remember for all times and under all circumstances. This referred mainly to what to do in case of his death, critical illness, or a critical accident. Meherji was given 10,000 rupees to be kept aside for any new life emergency. He, Nariman, Sarosh, and Jal Karawala were entrusted with seeing to all arrangements in the event of an ill-fated occurrence, such as Baba's demise. Baba concluded by dictating, God's will be done. God's will be done. 3 men among the Yeswalas were not to go with Baba. Concerning them, he stated, the work I have given to Mino Karas, he has done satisfactorily. So, by his remaining at his home, he can still be considered a Yeswala. In spite of his staying at home in Karachi and carrying on his business and other duties as before, I have asked him to implicitly obey certain of the conditions. It is not possible for Pandoba's feeble body to undergo the new life privations. So I myself have put him among the no-wallas. Bal Natu's health is also not good, and he should follow his old life. I have sent him back, but considering his past history, he is in the category of Yeswalas. Sadashiv Patil had to appear for a court case, so Baba permitted him to go to Pune, finalize it, and join him in Balgaum on the 21st. Baba arranged matters so that Ghani could accompany him, even though Ghani's property in Lonavla was in an unsettled financial state. That morning, Baba agreed to pose for a photograph with those men present in Mehrabad, which was taken by a local photographer named Poop Nursu. In the afternoon at 3 p.m., Baba participated in a cricket match for an hour and a half. And there's the photograph. Ramju, Ghani, and Kak Saheb suggested that the Mandali should be served a good meal before their departure with Baba, to which Baba agreed. Mona, would you like to read?
Yeah, from the beginning of the page.
Yep.
They requested non vegetarian food, and for the first time, Baba gave his consent for meat to be served in Mehrabad. When the meal was ready, Baba asked where it should be eaten. The large hall was suggested. Baba asked Daki what he thought, and being an orthodox Brahmin, he said, "The hall is the sacred seat of the Avatar, and never until now has non vegetarian food been served near your seat. So, in my opinion, I disapprove of it being taken there." Others protested that it was not good to divide the group because of one man's prejudices. But Baba replied, "For me, the opinion of even one man counts. You're all on one side, and Dake is on the other. So I side with him and say, let's not eat inside." As a result, at 6:30 p.m., everyone had to have the meal in Kakubai's cottage, while Dake and Kali Mama, also a Brahmin, had a mixture of sweets as the supper until they ate in the hall. While Baba served the food and distributed wine, whiskey, and brandy that he permitted Sarosh to bring, Dhake read out a humorous speech titled Farewell to Baba and Companions, which Baba enjoyed. Adi Senior and Ramju helped themselves to a glass after glass of the liquor, and others too freely imbibed. But when Baba approached Fareem, he indicated, "Don't ask for more," and then poured only 2 drops in his glass, testing him. Sailor elbowed Fareem, urging him to plead for more. Fareem held out his glass but ignored him. Sorry, but Baba ignored him. Footnote, please. Besides allowing the monthly to eat meat, this is the only time on record that Baba allowed the man to drink alcohol at Mehrabad. Baba also drank a small amount of wine. Yeah. Although there was joking and laughter, the argument over food had taken place prior to eating, so that by the time they actually sat down to the meat dishes, the general mood was spoiled. Even this Last Supper could not be held in a pleasant atmosphere, and that was Baba's preference. He would make his closest disciples eat and drink, but at the same time create tense situations so that no one found any real pleasure in it. Also, Pandu had with great effort been able to dispose of the lands and animals, but due to the strain of work, he had fallen ill with a fever and sore throat. On the morning of Friday, 14th October 1949, the Mandali at Mehrabad were called to Mehrazad to witness Baba symbolically end his must work by shaving, bathing, and clothing Ali Shah and Muhammad. Both musts were now living at Mehrabad, being cared for by Sidhu. The musts were taken to Mehrazad by Sailor and Gustaji. After shaving and bathing Ali Shah and then Muhammad, five poor men were also bathed. Baba himself then took a bath. After the symbolic event, Muhammad and most of the Mandli left. Nariman, Meherji, Jalbai, and Meenu returned in the afternoon as instructed. Adi Senior and Ramju also arrived with a magistrate who was to witness some of the women's signatures on property deeds. After this official work was completed, Ali Shah and Gustaji returned to Mehrabad with the other Mandali. While those leaving Mehrabad with Baba were excitedly packing, those to be left behind in Mehrabad were silently weeping. Baba's closest ones, who were to remain behind in general, were under a cloud of pain and despondency, uncertain of a future devoid of of the beloved's presence. There's a map. Uh, okay. On the morning of Saturday, 15th October 1949, Baba paid a final visit to Mehrabad to inspect the travelling kits containing the necessary items to be taken by each of those accompanying him. It was now decided that the following four women and 16 men of various ages would be going with Baba in the new life. Baba was then 55 and a half years old. Women companions Mehra 42, Mani 31, Meru 22, Goher 33, men companions Adi Senior 45, Ali Akbar Aloba 33, Anna, I don't know, it says 104 and 60. Yeah. Uh,
I think
Baba.
Mona, I
Yeah.
think his name is Anna 104.
Oh, really? Okay.
Strange name, yeah, but you know.
Uh-huh. Oh, okay. I was like, how can someone be 104 and 60 at the same? Though there are various, ways to do look at it. Anyway, thanks. Baba Das, mid 40s, Baidul 59, Daulat Singh 59, Tonkin 37, Erich 33, Ghani 56, Gustaji 59, Kakabaira 58, Murti Kale 30, Nilu 45, Pendu 45, Sadashiv Patel 60, Vishnu 45. Two of the men, Aloba and Murli, were former Meher ashram students. After the ashram had closed, Murli had become a member of the Mandali. Aloba would occasionally visit from Bombay, but he had only recently come to stay permanently. Another Meher ashram boy, Datu Mehen Darge, was working in Adi Senior's office in Kushru Quarters, Ahmednagar. In Adi's absence during the new life, Datu was put in charge of the office. There was another young man working in Adi Senior's office named Varman Yashwant Padale. Varman, 19, would do errands for Adi and deliver messages to Merazad. In Adi's absence, both Varman and Dattu remained strong links in Baba's cause in Ahmednagar. Nariman had hired Madhu Ghavne as caretaker at Merazad. As a boy, Madhu had served in Baba's Pune toady shop during the Kaspa Paith days and had also been in Mansal e Me, remaining at Mehrabad where Sidhu and his wife Radha, Kalimama, Vishnu's mother Kakubai, Balatambad, Sawa Kotal, Jangle, and their families. They were staying in Lower Mehrabad with the Mas Alisha and Muhammad. Jamdar and his wife Bhagubai were residing in the family quarters near Arangaon village. Maruti Patel's daughter Tara had been working for the women mandali on the hill, but she now went back to the village to stay with her father. On the hill, as mentioned, were Kaikobad's family and Mansari. Baba had not permitted Padri to remain at Mehrabad nor left him any money to live on. Padri therefore borrowed an amount from Sarosh and purchased a small plot of land adjacent to Mehrabad. The Mehrabad flour mill had been built there in 1947, and Padri used the income from the mill to support himself during the new life. Footnote. Later in 1959, when the Avatar Meher Baba Trust deed was executed, Padri donated the land and the flour mill to the trust. Ordering all the Nawalas and arrangement walas to leave Merazad by the night. The 15th of October, Baba himself returned to Merazad in the afternoon. Before departing, he told the men, "Don't worry about anything. So long as you all really love me, you are all the very, very lucky few in the present human generation. Love me always and be sure of me and eternal happiness." On the 15th, in Nariman and Meherji's cars, Baba sent Rano, Kitty, Khorshid, and Sona Masi along with Meenu Kharas to Pune, from where they departed from Bombay. Katie and Naja also left at this time. Baba walked down the hill with them. "Everything is finished," he remarked with a broad smile. "I feel so happy today. I feel so free. A new life starts." Before returning to Karachi, Meenu also saw to it that Baidul's family was safely settled in Bindra House. When Baba was bidding farewell to everyone in Mehrabad, the sky clouded and it began to rain. It was as if the heavens heard the cries of pain, age noted, and an expression of sympathy for their anguish burst out in lament, shedding tears. The heavens could not bear the sight. Baba lovers were facing physical separation from their beloved, and their hearts wept in sorrow. This physical separation, according to Baba, was for all time, and each one felt as if his heart were breaking. Baba had left orders that all yashwalas were to retire at 7 o'clock that evening. Before doing so, they were to deliver their trunks to be loaded on the luggage truck. They were also they were also informed to wake up at 2 a.m., take a bath, and dress in ordinary clothes rather than kafnis, which would have drawn undue attention to the group. Their normal attire was would be discarded on reaching Belgaum. Eva, would you like to read next?
Sure. Age continued. The whole night, the sky remained overcast. As the drums of the new life sounded, the heavens wept in abundance. The tears of Meherabad and of his lovers shed in love made the angels' hearts weep also. Seeing the depth of Meherabad's love, they too became anxious to spend their lives in the proximity of the Avatar, as this divine love can only be experienced on the gross plane in a physical body. Originally, the companions were to walk carrying their satchels from Meherabad to the railway crossing at the Ahmednagar station. But because of the rain, they were now permitted to travel the distance by a bus arranged by Sarosh. The companions woke early, had their baths, drank tea at 3 o'clock, and arrived at the railway crossing at 4:15 a.m. on Sunday, 16 October 1949. Meanwhile, at Meherzad, Baba woke the women at 2 o'clock, and after their last minute packing and tea, they started at 4:15 a.m. for the station, driven in the Buick by Erich, along with Kaka. Sarosh and a few others had sought Baba's permission to bid him farewell, but Baba had permitted only Sarosh, Adi Jr., Savak Damania, and Padri to be present. Padri was to drive the empty Buick back. Sarosh picked up Adi Sr. in Ahmednagar, and they were waiting when Baba and the women arrived. The sky continued to display its grief. The road was slick with rain, which now fell more heavily. H offered a heartfelt prayer. Oh, beloved, if you wish to depart, you may, but depart in some degree of comfort. Don't drench yourself in my tears. After seeing the plight of your lovers, I cannot prevent my tears from falling. I am helpless. But, beloved, don't get soaked by the downpour. Hear my prayer. I implore you. Baba and the women got down from the car near the railway crossing. It continued to rain heavily, and Sarosh beseeched Baba to keep the Buick. The rain is heavy and is likely to increase, Sarosh said. If you permit, I will follow you slowly in the car, and if the rain becomes too much, you can use it. Adi Jr. likewise requested that Baba use his car, offering to go back in Sarosh's car to get it. And Baba allowed them to do so along with Padri. Baba had a few more words with Sarosh, Adi Jr., and Savak Damanya, and then sent them back. They could not hold back their tears as they departed. Baba instructed the companions to keep a distance of 1 furlong behind the women. He also asked them to keep silence for a minute before starting, and then touch the road and their foreheads in a gesture of humility and reverence. Baba himself was the first to do so. Then, raising his hands, Baba asked the companions to utter this prayer: Oh God, make a success of this new life and turn it into eternal bliss for all. Until then, everyone was standing with their sacks over their heads. No sooner was the prayer offered than the procession began. The luggage truck with Kaka, Pendu, and Nilu preceded them. While walking, Baba asked the companions, Can anyone tell me what oath I took during the minute of silence? All guessed, but no one was correct. Baba remarked, It is a secret and cannot be divulged. More rain fell, but these drops helped the companions. After walking a mile, Baba decided to proceed in the Buick to the town of Chas, 7 miles away. Padre drove him and the women. The men Mandali waited for Adi Jr., who made 2 trips to carry them in his car. But when they arrived at Chas, they found the shelter where they were to stay surrounded by slush and mud. So, without halting, they drove straight to the town of Supa, 8 miles away. They arrived there at 6 o'clock and stayed at the dock bungalow. From there, Baba sent Padre and Adi Jr. back with the 2 cars. The companions took shelter in the garage, and the women in the bungalow itself. Kaka prepared tea. At one point, Baba remarked, The start of the new life is excellent, and I am very happy. After tea, Baba sat with his companions in the garage and explained the 4 stages of the new life. The first would be an interval of relaxation for 10 days, he said. The second would be an interval of training at Balgam. And the third, a sort of 10-day vacuum before actually entering the new life. And in the 4th stage, from January 1, 1950, the new life would be launched, characterized by 100% hopelessness and helplessness, so much so that even the gods will envy it, Baba declared. Baba again laid emphasis on complete obedience and asked the men, I had told you to make 1 trip in the car. Why did you disobey me? He was told that Adi Jr. thought it was unwise to carry everyone in 1 trip, and so indirectly, he was at fault. Baba forgave them, then stated, From now on, everything must be clear, open, and truthful. Nothing should be kept secret and hidden. All are equal, and all should treat each other and accommodate each other equally. Everyone should try to be 100% honest and should only speak the truth, whatever the circumstances and consequences. The most important point to remember in all circumstances is to remain cheerful and happy. Spells of despondency, annoyance, and disgust will assail you, but you should try not to show it on your face. Anger might come, but you should not express it.
Thanks, Eva.
Oh, you're
Uh,
welcome.
Meher Kiran, would you like to read? Okay, Marvin, can you read now? Okay, all right. Fine. Honey, Marvin, can you read now?
Okay.
Thanks. From Baba assigned duties to the companions.
Baba assigned duties to the companions. Kaka and Baidul were to attend to the kitchen work, preparing the food. Alaba and Murli were to wash the utensils. Don, Nilu, Adi Sr., and others were to bring water from a tenth of a mile away. Others were directed to wash and cut the vegetables, etc. Baba Das was given no work other than having on his person at all times 2 small packets of important documents and letters for Baba. For baths, everyone was required to fetch his own water. A bath was compulsory that day, and when Ghani, usually quite lazy, drew his water from the well, Baba and the companions were quite pleased. Ghani also engaged in some funny histrionics, grimacing and grunting for the amusement of all. While drawing water, he would mutter, "Oh God, this well is so deep. Oh God, help me. I have to bathe today by Baba's order, even though it is quite chilly. Allah, please help me." At one point, Ghani was panting for breath, and Baba ran to him and helped him pull up the bucket. Well, footnote here. Ghani had a heart condition, which may be why Baba helped him. While getting down from the truck in Supa that morning, Nilo had slipped and fallen but was not injured. In gratitude for this, Baba permitted the distribution of 10 rupees worth of jalabis. Nulu, who dearly loved sweets of any kind, and Murli went to town to get them, but they returned disappointed, empty-handed, since on such short notice not enough could be made fresh. The treat, however, was not canceled but postponed until the group reached Sirur. Because they had not stopped at the town of Chas as originally planned due to the rains, Baba decided to remain in Supa an extra day so as to adhere to the original schedule. Baba was in quite a happy mood, and whenever he approached the companions, he would distribute chocolates or dried fruit. He was one with them and those who had experienced the Manzilla meme days more than 25 years before, in 1922, enjoyed the same atmosphere of God living as man among them. Bob encouraged the Mandali to have no fear about anything. But on some, such as Adi Sr., Baba had put an enormous strain in the months leading up to the new life. The dissolution of so many private arrangements and the legal transferring of different responsibilities regarding various business and land transactions placed a heavy burden on the Mandali. Adi Sr. had had no sleep the night before leaving, having been up until 4 a.m. signing power of attorney agreements. As he recorded worriedly in his diary on 16 October 1949, quote, "Baba allows us to smoke, relax, have no fear about anything, and complete relegation of the past to the past. But I am depressed with the thought of Gulmai, his mother, the MEHER publications office, my servant boys, added to the nervous strain of the 2 months preparation prior to the start of the new life in breathless speed." That night in Supa, Baba rested by reclining on a dining table. Eric slept at his side as Anna 104 kept watch. The next morning, Baba went to the companions in a very bright mood and asked how they had slept. All replied they had slept well. Smiling, Baba remarked, "I slept better than I've ever slept before." For the first time in many years, Baba said, unburdened by all his previous responsibilities, he had been able to fall asleep and sleep well. That night in Supa, oops, but then at night, someone looking for a place to sleep had pulled and knocked on Baba's door. The noise startled Baba from his slumber, and not used to resting at such a height as a table, he tumbled off. Fortunately, he broke the fall with his palms and was unhurt. The rest of the night he slept soundly. Taking advantage of the opportunity, Ghani interjected. As thanksgiving for Nilu's safety, 10 rupees worth of sweets was permitted. Now, since Baba is also saved, the celebration should be all the more. In response, Baba sanctioned rupees 21 toward the purchase of sweets once they reached Sirur. Neela was very happy. Had he been allowed to subsist on a daily diet of sweets, he would have done so. Training was to begin, as Baba had previously mentioned. To make a success of the training period, Baba stated, implicit obedience is absolutely essential, without the least falter or hesitation. Citing an instance about Daulat Singh, a Sikh, Baba added, I had given him a cigarette to smoke in Meherabad. Without hesitation, he immediately put it in his mouth and was on the point of lighting it, but I snatched it away. I snatched it and threw it away, pleased with his obedience. Had Daulat Singh shown the slightest hesitation on the grounds of religion, he would have failed, but I would have forgiven him in this primary stage of the new life. But from January 1st, no such lapses will be condoned. The defaulter will immediately be ordered to leave, and his spiritual connection with me will also be broken. Wow. That is why I say you should take all orders and conditions quite seriously. I will help you much during the period of training until the end of December to attune yourselves to the new life. In the afternoon, Baba brought up the topic again of obedience and explained, we are all on an equal footing from now on. For us all, henceforth, there is no spirituality, no master, no discipline, no miracles, no key-turning business, no hopes, no thoughts of benefits or of privations. Look upon me as a friend who will help and advise you until the end of December. By words and deeds, you should sincerely and seriously avoid giving the impression that Baba is God, Master, Sadguru, or the Avatar. I will be Master in one respect alone, in demanding implicit obedience. In all other respects, treat me as a friend. You should be quite free in your behavior with me, but the treatment should not smack of rudeness or impudence. Barring this, indulge in fun, be merry, crack jokes, laugh. Nothing will please me more. The important thing that will carry you safely through with me is not to be moody. Try to be happy and cheerful. If at times your mood is spoiled and you get angry, try never to express it directly or indirectly. All this is the play of the mind, and conscientious efforts will make it adapt itself. It had originally been decided that the third stop would be at the town of Narayangaon, 7 miles from Supa. Shelter there had been arranged in an open field near a well, shaded by trees close to a stream. But it had continued to rain intermittently, and since the field was soft mud, it would be inadvisable to sleep there. Baba therefore resolved to go straight to Sirur, 16 miles farther, without stopping. Before retiring for the night, Baba instructed all to wake up at 2 a.m. and have breakfast of tea and a chapati, and start the journey at 4 o'clock. The luggage truck was to leave after the whole group had gone. Accordingly, early in the morning of Tuesday, 18 October 1949, Baba and all his companions left Supa. This time, Baba asked the men to walk in front, while he remained about 220 yards behind with the women. It had rained all night. The sky was overcast, the road muddy and slippery. But Baba remarked, "Rain or no rain, this time we have to continue the march on foot regardless of the risks." They walked an average of 2.5 miles an hour. Physically, Ngani was the most unfit, being unaccustomed to exercise in any form. Baba, at one point, asked him how he felt. "I'm hungry," he replied. Baba went to the women's caravan and, bringing some sweets from them, distributed them to the men. With Erich nearby, Baba walked with the women for the most part, but he would often catch up with the men, and after, quote, chatting, unquote, with them for a few minutes, return to the women. He was thus covering twice the distance of the others. Nearing Narayan Gaon, Baba pointed to a nearby village and mused, "It would be nice if we could have some hot tea here." Erich mentioned to Baba that according to their original plan of spending the night in Narayan Gaon, the man who was to have made arrangements for their stay had been given 4 rupees to buy milk, and that he could give them tea. Baba instructed Don and Erich to go to Narayan Gaon and arrange for tea. The question of paying for it was thus solved, as according to the new life conditions, no one had any money on his person. Only Kaka had some in his wallet, as he had gone ahead in the luggage truck. When they reached Narayan Gaon, they stopped there for half an hour, and each had a hot cup of tea. Within a short time, they were on the march again. By now, the rain had stopped, and the October sun was beating down in full force. The warm weather cut down their speed to 2 miles per hour. Baba and Ghani had blisters on their feet, to which Don applied gauze and adhesive tape. Jokingly, Ghani said, "Don and Nilu totally led me astray. They said that Baba's health was such that he would not be able to walk for 4 or 5 miles. Baba understood what Ghani was driving at, namely, we should stop this walking business. But he just smiled. Baba did not show the least sign of exhaustion, despite going back and forth between the men and women. Sirur was only a third of a mile away when Ghani looked as if he were about to collapse. He found it hard to take another step. Baba lovingly approached him and motioned to Ghani to hold one end of Ghani's walking stick and blindly follow without thinking of the distance remaining, as Baba led him, holding the other end. Baba continued to lead him, encouraging him that they were almost there. But nearing Sarur, it looked as if Ghani would drop. He asked for water. Baba directed him to rest under a tree for 15 minutes, and then gave him a sip of water, sprinkling some of it over his head. Thereafter, Ghani felt refreshed and resumed the walk. Sarur was now an eighth of a mile away. Before reaching the town limits, Baba declared that he wished to be the first to cross the boundary, and everyone else should follow him. At that moment, it was found that Anna 104 was not present. He had walked ahead, and on Baba's instructions, Don and Erich went to look for him. However, they could not catch up with him, since he had already crossed the bridge at the entrance to the town. Prior arrangements had been made for the group's stay in the dock bungalow, but since it was occupied that day by military officers, alternative accommodations were arranged for the night in a vacant movie theater, the Sri Madhur Touring Cinema, opposite the bus stand. They reached it at noon. The luggage truck with Pendu, Kaka, and Nilo had already arrived, and they had prepared lunch. Here, Baba caught Anna 104 and scolded him, asking, "Why did you disobey? All had instructions to remain a furlong ahead of the women. Why did you go so far in advance?" Baba forgave him, but cautioned him not to do it again. After they had eaten and taken rest, jalebis were brought to celebrate Nilu's escape from injury and distributed to all by Baba with afternoon tea. Maybe another reader would like to go?
Honey Bunny, would you like to read?
Sure. A man named Kulkarni of Ahmednagar, along with some Marwaris who owned the cinema, had arranged their meals and rendered other service. Since they had not stopped at Narayangaon and had reached Sarur a day earlier, it was decided to spend the 19th there also. It was Diwali, and the town was aglitter with an array of lights and exploding fireworks. But being tired, the companions went to bed early and awoke refreshed the following morning. After breakfast on 19th October, Baba also emphasized the conditions and principles of the new life. I am telling you this in order to help you, but after the 1st of January, there will be no question of any help or care. Life during that period will be lived at the mercy of the world. It will be a life of complete helplessness and hopelessness. Pointing out the difference between small and large mistakes, Baba explained small mistakes relate to a breach of individual duties and personal orders. Big mistakes to a breach of rules and conditions of the new life, such as not touching money, not purposely touching women, hoping to return to the old life, and so forth. Small mistakes, consciously or unconsciously committed, will be forgiven until the end of December. Big mistakes, unconsciously committed, will also be forgiven until that time. But big mistakes, consciously committed, will never be forgiven. The companions were given ladus with afternoon tea, as promised by Baba, to celebrate his escape from injury when he fell off the table. Baba then asked everyone to take a bath. As there was no bathroom in the theater, the open air urinals were thoroughly scrubbed and the men bathed there. At 7 o'clock that evening, Kaka and Pendu left in the truck with the baggage for Belgaum, discussing their walk with Supa. Baba teased the men. Discussing their walk from Supa, Baba teased the men. The women completed the 16 miles with ease. In fact, they were complaining that they were handicapped by being unable to increase their pace because you were so slow. In the early hours at 1:30 a.m. on Thursday, 20 October 1949, Baba and the group left Serur by public bus, which had previously been hired for their journey to Belgaum. Reaching Satara via Pune at 8 that morning, they stopped for half an hour to wash their faces and hands and have a snack. Nilu wistfully remarked to Adi Sr., "When will we ever be back in Mehrabad?" Mona, could you take another turn now, please, if you're able to?
From top of the page.
Yes, please.
Baba overheard the remark and rebuked Nilu, correcting him. Such thoughts are against the spirit and conditions of the new life. Remember, I will forgive such mistakes only up to the end of December. on and from 1st January 1950, he who commits a blunder will have to pack his bag and baggage. They arrived in Belgaum at 3:30 that afternoon via Kolhapur and Nipani. Vishnu had been sent from Mehrabad to arrange for their stay, which was to be in Taikawadi, a rural suburb. It took them an hour to find the place. When they arrived, Kaka, Pendu, and the truck were there, but not Vishnu. Pendu said they had waited for 2 hours for Vishnu, but he had not shown up. To make matters worse, a 20 by 20-foot hut for the man, sorry, a 20 by 20, 30-foot hut for the men mandali, which was to have been constructed with a tile roof and tata walls, was not ready. The workers, delayed by the rains, were still in the process of finishing it. The, the, the road leading to the farm was also deep in mud. Becoming aware of Baba's arrival, Vishnu hurried to Taikawadi. He explained that he had been told to be present at 6 o'clock in the evening, but Baba, as usual, was early. His face paled when he saw the unfinished hut, its stone flooring wet, and the dirt and slush everywhere. It was pouring rain and difficult to unload the truck. Only the essential articles were taken out and the rest left inside. Baba tried to cheer up his companions by explaining these discomforts are the first step toward Satya and Ashi, which we have to pass through. The women were accommodated in a solid building on the property 220 yards away. It had been enclosed with bamboo matting for privacy, and outside of it was a deep well. The men companions had to draw the water. They got blisters doing so and carried the water from there to the hut. The Talakwadi property was a 24-acre place of land which had been given to Baba. But as in the case of Mehrabad and Mehrazad, in conformity with the requirements of the new life, Baba had instructed Vishnu to have the land transferred back to the owner's name. Rain continued throughout the night, and the women's lodgings were ankle deep in water. The following day, 21st October, was spent unloading the truck. As this was the labor phase, no servants were hired, and every man lent a hand. Baba, overwhelmed remark and rebuked Nilu, correcting him. Such thoughts are against the spirit and conditions of the new life. I will forgive such mistakes only. I just read this. Should I repeat it?
No. Oh, here we go. Good. Um, Here we go.
Yeah, thank you. Sadashiv Patil arrived from Pune at 8 o'clock that morning and joined the companions. Since there was no proper kitchen, meals were arranged from a restaurant until everyone felt settled and could begin cooking. In the afternoon, Baba again declared, if the training period turns out to be successful, our life of hopelessness will be the envy of gods. Explaining his statement, he clarified, up to now, life, so to say, has been of pain and suffering, which nobody could be said to enjoy. In 1950, life will be still more acutely painful, but this pain you will enjoy. The enjoyment of pain will in itself constitute a challenge to God. Then he concluded, I cannot say anything more, and truly speaking, nothing is clear and definite. I have only a hazy picture of things to come. Think what you may. Adi Senior pressed Baba to explain what he meant by enjoyment of pain. In reply, Baba dictated this smile. It is similar to when one suffering from an itch feels pain while scratching. And yet, this painful scratching gives a pleasurable sensation. This is an example to give you an idea of what I mean by enjoyment of suffering. Baba then directed all to bathe and change clothes and hand over to him the clothes they have worn while starting out from Ahmednagar. Those having the duty of cleaning utensils and filling water pots, however, were permitted to use these extra clothes until the 25th of October. On Saturday, 22nd October 1949, Baba assigned general duties to the companions, cleaning vessels, fetching water, keeping things clean, washing clothes, etc. Baba himself participated in the tedious chores. The women too were having to cope without servants. Referring to them, Baba stated, these four women, by working cooperatively like menials in doing work they have never done before, are faithfully living the new life. Even Mehra is working like a servant, sweeping floors, washing, dusting, doing things I have never before permitted her to do. The duties assigned to each were of tentative nature. As Baba explained, final duties will be assigned after 3 days on the 25th of October, the day on which the training period begins. In the afternoon, Baba discussed the pros and cons of completing the training period at Belgaum. After a long, drawn out discussion, the following circular to the arrangement walas and those concerned was dictated. Let all recipients of the new phase booklet written by Ramjo describing meetings at Mehrabad relating to the new life know that the first period of training will be spent at Belgaum until November 20th, 1949, comprising physical labor. The second phase of training will be spent at Banaras from November 25th to December 10th, comprising begging and langoti, life in lion cloth. The third and last period of training will be spent on the way to Haridwar from December 10th to 31, comprising gypsy life. From January 1st, 1950 onward, whether on the way to Haridwar or whether God takes us, will be the endless new life of hopelessness in real. Everything is shifting. Can you just scroll up?
Sorry, Mona. Sorry.
I need to read where I was reading, and for that you need. I, yeah, thanks. It's a, it happens. From January 1st, 1950 onward, whether on the way to Haridwar or wherever God takes us, will be the endless new life of hopelessness in real earnest. This message was sent to the Mehrabad Mandli, those staying with Meherji and Nariman, the Mandli staying in Ahmednagar, and others. In addition, four more points were sent to Sarosh, Nariman, Meherji, and Jal Kirawala. We leave Belgaum on November 20th, 20 of us by third class train to Banaras. Money for this will be spent from allotted training period maintenance amount already with Kaka. We leave Banaras on December 10th on foot and hope to reach Haridwar by March 10th. The caravan, bullock cart, and bullock should reach Banaras cantonment by December 7th. Vishnu and Neelu will be inquiring at Banaras cantonment railway station regarding the caravan, bullocks, etc. from December 1st to 7th. Age noted. Thus the drops began receiving some trickle of news from Baba. As he could not ignore the yearning, he was, however, transforming their tears into fire. So even though they had not gone with him on the new life, their tears had accompanied him. To celebrate the inauguration of their stay at Belgaum, Baba distributed sweets worth rupees 21. He also ordered cigarettes for those who smoked, but only enough to last them until end of December. On Sunday, 23rd October 1949, Baba walked from the women's residence to the men's hut while carrying a breakfast of onions and tomatoes on his head. He would also sweep the floors and clean pots, and the companions were overcome with emotion at seeing Baba do such menial work. It was quite an object lesson for them. To celebrate the inauguration of this day, sorry, I can't see that line. Yeah, thanks. To celebrate the inauguration of this day at Belgaum, Baba distributed sweets worth rupees 21. He also ordered cigarettes for those who smoked, but only enough to last until end of December. I read that already. On Sunday, 23rd October 1949, Baba walked from the women's residence to the men's hut while carrying a basket of onions and tomatoes. Okay,
Oh, that's worth reading again, Mona. Go ahead.
yeah, sorry. The page had gone up and down, so then,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
but that's a nice image. Baba
yeah,
carrying a basket of onions and
yeah,
tomatoes on his head.
yeah. He would also sweep the floors and clean pots, and the companions were overcome with emotion at seeing Baba do such menial work. It was quite an objection, or sorry, it was quite an object lesson for them. At one point, Baba asked the companions whether they had slept well the previous night. None of the men had been able to fall asleep until late night due to the swarms of mosquitoes that had pestered them. When told of this, Baba stated, the women also could not sleep for the same reason. Mani had a rash all over her face and body that looks like measles. But in spite of the damp rooms and mosquitoes, I was pleased to see the women in buoyant spirits, laughing and joking. They are busy building mud stoves. From the 1st of November, they will start cooking. Before then, from 25th to 31st October, Kaka and Baidul should attend to the cooking. Murli should help them, and Dawn should see about improvising a kitchen. Eva, you want to
So,
read?
why don't we stop
Yeah, I think
here
we should
since it's
stop. We're about a half hour over already.
yeah, uh-huh.
We started
So,
late.
2794 is where we start next week at the top of the page.
All right.
Thanks
Thanks.
for coming, and